I've thought about it a lot, and SpongeBob was absolutely, it still is, playing on Nickelodeon like all day, every day, right? It makes a shitload of money, right? But the reason why it worked was because you had a character that the adults could relate to, and that was Squidward.
Absolutely, yeah. No, we think we're SpongeBob. We're all Squidward.
Exactly.
That's what we realize
when you grow up, you realize you're Squidward.
Yeah.
And the reason why, SpongeBob is just a buffoon, moron, annoying idiot, right? And then you have Squidward to bounce him off of and just react to in the most miserable, annoyed, pissed off way.
Yeah.
And so,
it's like, all right, we get it. Yeah, we feel like that person. SpongeBob, just
so you've got black and white.
No, bro, I feel like people can relate to fucking Plankton. He's just grinding, man. Plankton's trying to make it in the world. He's not the.
I realised I was Plankton when I grew up all along. And you know what? I fucking love the SpongeBob movie.
Oh, it's great. I haven't watched any of the recent ones.
They're
but
dog shit, man.
No,
They're
the
dog
first
shit.
SpongeBob movie,
Brilliant. It's hilarious.
Are you a goofy goober?
And the reason why it works is because it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that's the thing with SpongeBob. It became very commercial, but actually, it is the least commercial thing ever. It's very weird when you look at the concept and the humor and the voice acting. A lot of very dark themes.
It just spoke to people because
it's really weird, but
it had
it
so much variety, and the jokes were genuinely clever.
And I feel like they still are.
This is what I was going to mention.
I don't know.
In the new SpongeBob episodes, you can definitely see that the core of what made it work at the beginning, of having Squidward bounce off of SpongeBob, it's not there as much anymore.
Is it not?
And that's why it's only really designed for kids now. Adults couldn't really sit down and watch it like they could before because it just wasn't it's not as relatable anymore, and that's why it doesn't work. It's just full of random stupid shit, and a big part of it is just when you have a cartoon, like it's the same thing with the Simpsons, just running
Simpsons
it into the ground.
Case.
There's so many storylines that you get through. It comes to a point when you're like, we have done so much of this. How the hell can we think of another storyline?
I think that's the problem when you have a floating timeline. It limits you. Because think about The Simpsons. Bart has been about 10 years old for 35 plus fucking years.
And the outrage when Marge died. It's like, Marge is going to come back.
Of course she is.
Marge has probably died so many times.
But no, I find it fascinating what happens to The Simpsons.
Yeah.
It's really lost its way. And actually, that's debated a lot as to when it lost its way. Some people say, it was after the 4th season, after the 5th season.
Yeah.
I think after the 90s in general, it lost its way. And especially now it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Like, when it first started, I mean, you watch early Simpsons, it's one of the smartest shows ever made. Such clever writing, man.
I think mid-noughties is when it fell off, really.
Yeah, I'd say the late 90s. Yeah. Honestly, I think that's circa like season 10, season 11. Oh, that's when it started to fall off.
What made The Simpsons work so much is that every season was evolving in the sense that there were certain seasons at the beginning that were maybe more focused on the family, and then it took it more to world building and building on, actually making statements about the political world. And then there was others that were more irreverent, and
it reflected the culture at the time.
The writers were smart in the way that they evolved the show to keep it interesting and clever and really, really self-aware and genre bending. And it just fell off, and that's what happens.
Going back to the floating timeline thing, I think no character has suffered more than Homer. Because at the beginning, Homer has always been a flawed character.
Yeah.
But he was never malicious.
Yeah.
When he gets to the later seasons, like season 11, 12, 13 onwards, in some episodes, Homer is a despicable prick. A spiteful fucker, so malicious. And in the early, I'm sorry, I'm not getting very heated about this.
Fucker.
No, but he is. There are so. I mean, I can't think of episodes top of my head, but man, there are times where he just does things that are so spiteful. And he, even if he did that in the early seasons, but he was a very pure moralistic character. He loved his family. Loved Marge, loved Lisa.
Well, that's what makes
Homer
that's what makes him work.
That's what made him work. That's why he was so lovable.
Because he's a dumbass, but he's trying.
A lovable dumbass. Now he's just a despicable bastard. Honestly, man, just look at later Simpsons.
I'll have to watch it. The highest rated episode is Homer's Enemy. Have you seen it?
with the Frank
Grimes.
I was just going to mention that.
Yeah.
And that was the thing with the Simpsons, and I think that's something they've struggled with.
That's an unbelievably deep episode.
Exactly. No, the Simpsons has always had a very dark edge.
Yeah.
But I feel like in the early seasons, they were able to, balance that and actually combine it with a point and some pathos. I feel like their later episodes where the show is very dark and like mean-spirited, but without much of a point. And like that episode, Homer's Enemy, is just like a fantastic episode. It's like, you fucking like Frank Grimes, that's it. You side with him a little bit.
Yeah.
How frustrated he is with Homer. And actually, I think a key example of like, the Simpsons, mean age not working so well is in the crossover episode, the Family Guy episode.
Oh, yeah.
And that was fascinating because just the idea was so built up. We've been waiting decades for this. And it was very strange because it felt like, even if this was the idea, that doesn't matter. But like, it felt like a Family Guy episode stuck in the Simpsons. There was like the writers were trying to match like kind of the crudeness of Family Guy, and it just didn't work. Man. It was very, very disappointing. What do you think about Family Guy?
I've never been a fan of Family Guy. I'm not a big fan of Seth MacFarlane. I do like Ted movies.
Yeah, no, I will say I have a soft spot for the Ted films. That takes me back to my teen
pretty
years.
decent.
I kind of love the Ted films. But I feel like with Family Guy, it's interesting. Seth MacFarlane is no longer involved. He still does the voices, but that's it. But he's given control of the show over to someone else.
Okay.
And I find that interesting.
I'm sure the ratings have gone down massively since then.
Yeah, but then people watch him, and I think that's because Family Guy has never been a show with much depth, really. I think the difference is, and that's why it's so frustrating what happened to The Simpsons. The Simpsons had a lot more to say. There was a pathos there.
Yeah.
Family Guy is very much junk. It's junk TV.
Yeah, I think that's why it's never appealed to
it's
me.
always it's just, you watch it in the background, you watch it eating dinner. And I think that's why it's continued, because, it's still watched by so many people.
It's funny,
though,
because
Seth MacFarlane didn't mind giving control of it, Yeah,
because it has a lot more offensive jokes, and it
goes
and it's there's swearing in it and shit like that. Whereas The Simpsons is a 12, but yet it's darker in the respect that the themes that it tackles with is more clever.
Yeah,
and it doesn't necessarily have to shove all this offensive shit in your face, but it can make clever statements about things without actually saying them, which to me is just more creative and amusing. You can chuckle it and be like, "Oh, I know what they're saying there," but they're not saying it. You know what I mean?
But like with Family Guy, wasn't it just so pointless? Vinny. Sorry, your namesake.
Wait, who's Vinny?
No, the dog, and they killed Brian. Good man.
What? Did they?
Did you not know that?
No, I didn't watch Family Guy.
Thing, that big outrage. They
big outrage. How dare they?
They replaced him with you. Look it up. It's a whole thing, and then they brought Brian back from the dead after like a few episodes.
Oh, what?
When they realized no one likes Vinny. No one likes Vinny.
So it didn't take that long.
It's like the Marge thing.
Yeah. It didn't take that long for them to come around.
No. That was one of the few times Family Guy tried to do something really like dark, and it just didn't work.
See, I watched the recent Simpsons episode the other month, and it just didn't work. And the reason why was because they were then becoming too self-referential and too clever. They were playing into like the concept of AI and all that shit, and it was just like, oh, this is just too heavy-handed. You're trying to be too clever, and it just lost touch with the simplicity of it.
I think that's also because every show does self-aware humor, postmodern stuff, and does it better than The Simpsons.
Yeah,
and that's the problem. Do you feel like the new season's also trying to be a bit too much like Family Guy, like slightly cruder, and it doesn't?
No, I didn't think it was that. It just wasn't. It was just like, this isn't The Simpsons anymore.
No, it hasn't been The Simpsons for a bloody long time.
Yeah. Who's that? Vinny Griffin.
Yeah.
So what happened to him? Did he die, or did you just know what? They didn't say anything. They just brought back.
No, they just brought back Brian. That from what I remember. But like,
Griffin.
They just after a few episodes. Can't believe you didn't know.
Why would I know about that?
Yeah.
It was like in the news. People were just outraged.
Yeah.
How dare they?
This has fucked up the law. We fucking hate Brian.
We fucking hate Vinny.
We hate Vinny. But I think in the world of cartoons, and this is a show we've mentioned so many times on this channel that I think still hits is South Park. But South Park is just a completely different beast.
Yeah.
Altogether.
Because I think, like we said, the animation is so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
That you couldn't possibly be able to take them down, because it's saying all these things that are, look, this is the thing, right? Everyone knows the statements that they make about the real world always have a lot of truth to them.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so funny, because let's be honest, truth is funny. When you see the truth playing out, especially in a stupid, dumb... I think that's what makes South Park so perversely effective, is that it's so dumb in the way it's presented, and yet it's so truthful.
And, they're using that dumbness just to go for everyone.
Yeah,
that's the thing with South Park. I mean, especially early South Park, they went for no matter what topic they were tackling, socially, politically, they go for everyone. Yeah. They do not care.
How sad would it be if they did get watered down? You know.
Oh,
you haven't seen that? Have you seen that at all in the show?
No. Look, I mean, they've even said there are certain jokes, and this is more just like, crude, offensive, edgy humor. There are certain jokes they wouldn't make now, but in terms of their social commentary, absolutely not.
Great.
I think Matt Parker and Trey Stone, the few people who just not stand for it.
Amazing.
And they can always, get away with the fact that South Park is such a stupid looking cartoon.
Yeah.
They are actually just the very few creators and artists who haven't, they haven't had it watered down, because they fight back. They're fearless.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what all great art should do. It should be fearless. It should reflect the world back at us.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why I think South Park has sustained the test of time. Absolutely.